some alligators for y'all this afternoon. Got Anna the firecracker over there, ready to pop off like a bottle rocket without a stick should things go awry. She looks like she's about to jump in it. You want to see if she'll stick her head in their mouth? They said yes, Anna. They want to see it. Just kidding. Come back tomorrow. We do that tomorrow. Well, I'll ring the dinner bell. We'll see if we can attract a couple alligators. It is hot, though. Alligators really don't like this heat, just like you and I don't like this heat. We're going to do our best to attract a couple, though. Hopefully all 300 don't show up at once. If they do, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Sound like a plan? All right, you guys are excited. I like it. Here we go. Very high-tech alligator call. Never try that. So there are about 300 adults out here in the main swamp. These are all nuisance, wild-caught alligators. We've got almost another 400 worth of their offspring down the path. So close to 700 alligators total on property. Now, what's really landed these 300 on this side of the fence, though, is just kind of being an alligator. What used to be creeks and swamps and bayous is now turning into waterfront property. So just being an alligator's pretty well got some of these guys in trouble. Now, one good thing about them, though, is they're actually very good at association. They can associate times, places, sounds, even colors. They see in color about as well as you and I do. For some reason, pink is their favorite color. Some of you ladies might need to watch out. Y'all stay in the middle, you'll be fine. We hadn't lost anybody yet today. But it does not take a very big alligator to actually ruin your day. At about 6 to 7 feet, which these 3, now about to be 4 alligators on the bank are right at 6 feet. Come on up here, buddy, we got room. At this size, though, they have a bite force of about 400 to 500 pounds. Doesn't seem like much weight. Most of you fellas put that up at the gym every week, right? A couple of us. Doesn't seem like much, but our arms and legs tend to start breaking about 450. So that little alligator right there could do quite a bit of damage. Now, once they jump up in size to about 10 feet or so, which we had some bigger fellows. Hannah's got one over on her right sneaking up on her. But these bigger guys, 10, 11 feet, biting about 1,800 to 2,000 pounds. And then in the very back of the swamp, there's an even bigger fella named Captain Crunch. There's actually big ones all over. There's about 30 big guys. But Crunch has the strongest bite for a male American alligator at 2,982 pounds. This is true poundage, not PSI. They actually can generate into the hundreds of thousands of pounds PSI or tooth pressure. So he's only going to bite you once. Good thing is he can only hold that bite on you for about 20 minutes. So you got 45 minutes to kill. Things should be fine. I was practicing my cornhole for later, and I'm sorry. I didn't mean to splash you. This is one of the guys we had up here at the first feeding. You'd have been very impressed if I'd have made it in his mouth. Don't lie. So things been changing around out here in alligator world. We just kind of shifted gears a little bit. We went from breeding season to nesting season. So what that means out here is that the big guys that were previously chasing girls have all started showing back up to the feedings. They were preoccupied. They're not interested in food and girls at the same time. Fellas, you know how it is. So the big guys are showing back up. If you're a non-pecking order guy, which we got a couple non-pecking order, I hadn't really seen any monsters showing up. These 10, 11 foot fellas, nothing better to do. They've been eating, trying to become a big alligator. Just trying to see if this thing was illuminated or not. Normally it is. There we go. Come on out, son. Ladies, this is what you're doing. There's a nest right there on that point over there in that gap where that little yellowish looking mound is. That one's made of a bunch of grass because that's about all they've got to work with over there. But it's mud, vegetation, debris. Once you get into the swamp, more mud consistency. But that nest is as big as the hood of your car, ladies. It's a couple feet tall, and that's what you're doing right now, is guarding that nest. You are not leaving that nest because you are providing protection or overwatch to those eggs. Now you're waiting for 65 days. Eventually they're going to hatch out. Those babies are fully independent and on their own as soon as they come out. They've got to start evading predators, finding their own food. The vast majority of them do not make it to adulthood. So again, Mom, you're laying around trying to protect them as best you can, but it's hard taking care of 35 kids going in that direction. So that's what these females are doing, like I say, and should have already capitalized on this meal opportunity. Now, looking at these alligators, y'all are probably wondering which one's one of the meanest alligators out here in the swamp. Due to her lovely temperament and attitude, we just call her Hillary.
Missing a leg.
Hadn't seen her. So, I got another decent sized fellow looking like he's coming down the pond. I'm not real sure. This is typically our slower feeding during the heat of the day right now. He looks like a decent sized fellow. We'll give him a minute down here. Might have to lure him in, hold Anna over by her ankles. Now, we are definitely not filling any of these alligators up. At one time, if they wanted to, some of the bigger fellows y'all are seeing out here can actually eat about a fifth of their overall body weight. There's the devil showing back up. That's who was down here in this corner that Anna was messing with. The devil here is our largest three-legged alligator. I was trying to get him up high enough so you guys can see this leg that's missing. Somebody bit his leg off. I don't think it happened here. But he's our largest three-legged fella. They actually do clot blood amazingly fast, so they will not bleed to death. There is an antibody in that blood, makes them highly resistant to infection. They've introduced things like HIV, staph, MRSA, alligator blood, and has no problem defending that off. So pretty common to see a three-legged alligator. Never seen a five-legged one. Back to what we were discussing before. I see him coming on down. I think that's JW. Let's say this dude's weighing probably 600 pounds. He's probably over that. We're going to say he's 600. Don't get eaten, Anna. At 600 pounds, though, something big comes along, like a pig, a deer. Anna gets too close to the water. He can actually eat a fifth of his overall body weight at one sitting. So that alligator now has a 120 pound stomach capacity. But a couple bad kids will fit right in, too. Now, if we're at the extreme, don't you do it. If we're at the